Hello. It's Joseph, or well, Jay Took with Moonlit Moth Creations. I just thought that I would do a little bit more of a detailed video on some of the items that I had shown in that first little short video, because it was not very detailed. It was just sort of an impromptu, spur of the moment sort of thing. But now I'm here and I have a little bit more time and I have everything organized to show sort of where I started about 6 weeks ago, almost right at 6 weeks ago, and where I'm at today in my crochet journey, I guess. It's been a lot of fun, and it's hard to believe it's only been 6 weeks, but I guess let's get to it with showing the little journey I've been on. The very first project that I did was this. It's a blanket. It is not finished. It is just a big continual granny. I really liked these colors, but I will say that I found quickly that I would not recommend anybody first starting out to maybe use black yarn, even if it is a simpler stitch pattern like granny squares. The black really just complicates seeing where you're at with your stitches. I think that's pretty common knowledge, but it was something that I didn't know starting out because I just sort of blindly started after watching like a video on YouTube. But this was where I started. Not finished. I don't know if it ever will be finished. I have the yarn to finish it. It's just with the Red Heart Super Saver from Walmart, but I thought that I would just go from here to a temperature blanket, and let's look at that. Also, not caught up to date with that. This is the temperature blanket that I was making. This is most of the month of January. I really enjoyed the colors. I thought it was very Eastery, but it's January. It's softer yarn. Also Red Heart yarn, but I don't have the skeins in front of me to know. I believe it's a little different than the Red Heart in the first blanket. It's just softer. A better stitch control here. You can sort of see it's just slightly more even, not as tight in places and loose in others. I sort of found my tension sweet spot there by the time I'd moved to this one. But I got tired of working on the blankets. I've discovered that not my favorite. I feel like it's a little bit boring. I think now if I went back to blankets, I think that I would be able to find the groove and it would be less boring because I would be able to move through it quicker. But at that point, my stitches were very slow and deliberate. So it just felt like I was taking forever and going nowhere. But I did move from that to another blanket. Also a big continual granny. But this one I am calling completed. It is with larger yarn. This is actually with Lion Brand Respun, not the recycled acrylic. This is, I believe this is the one with wool, so it's not the 100% acrylic one. I had bought these skeins of yarn. Again, Walmart, they were doing a clearance because they're doing a big remodel at one of my local Walmarts. And so they had this yarn for like $1.50 a skein, which was a really good deal. So I bought all of it that they had. I still have multiple skeins of, not this color. I only have a little bit left in these colors, but I do have some green. I believe I have red, and gray, and I might have another one that's cream, I believe. I wouldn't quote myself on that though. And then I was kind of over blankets definitely by that point. So I went, I was watching a lot, and I still watch a lot of TL Yarn Crafts. Tony is absolutely wonderful. And I got this pattern for this bag from her. It was my first project that wasn't a blanket, and I was really excited with how it came out. I even have, I did a little bit of Tunisian here on the handle. The one thing I would change though with this bag, if I did this pattern again, not only would it be a different yarn because this is Red Heart, again, just acrylic. The one thing I would do, since her pattern called for, I believe it uses a 3-weight yarn, and I was using a 4, so I increased my hook size to account for that difference. And so overall my my blocks and things that I eventually stitched together were bigger than what hers were in the pattern. But what I didn't account for is the length of this cord. So I did get the cord made, but it is shorter than what I would have ultimately liked, and I just didn't really, at the time, want to remake the cord, so I just went with it, and I put these little wooden beads that I actually, they were just plain wooden beads from, I think they were from the Dollar General, actually. And what I did is I took, I have felt tip paint markers, and I just used those to color them this color. So I thought it looked nice. But yeah, it's, and it was definitely probably the most vibrant thing. The color is not super, super true on the camera there. It's, in person, it is quite a bit more vibrant. And again, using the black yarn. But at this point, the black yarn was a little bit easier because I was a little bit more accustomed to stitching at this point. So that was that project. And I went from that, and I decided that since Tony with TL Yarn Crafts had some beautiful shawl patterns, and I was really tempted by those the whole time I was making that bag. I was just thinking about the shawls. And this is the next project that I went with. This is a TL Yarn Crafts shawl pattern. I really liked the stitch here because it was different than anything that I'd really, the stitch pattern rather, was different than anything else I had done to that point. And it's got the little picot border, which turned out really nice. I thought it was very cute. And this yarn is Mandala Bonus Bundle in Moth is the colorway. And I've actually got multiple projects that I've made so far using this, because I also got several of these bonus bundles at that same clearance sale, and I paid $2 a piece for these big bonus bundles, and I thought that was amazing. That's like all the steals and deals, as Juan would say. But so that was my project after the bag. And then I moved right into another TL Yarn Crafts shawl pattern. This one, if I can find the top here, yeah. This one is more light and airy. This is also using that same Mandala bonus bundle Meowth. I just color controlled it to not have any of the pinks. And that's the stitching there on this one. I did, however, as I mentioned in the first video, I did change the border from what she had in her pattern online. And she had a picot border on this as well. But I just took and did this little chain double border. I just thought it looked really nice, and with the little airy open spaces to kind of match and echo the mesh type of the fabric there. I just thought I'd like how it looked, and I was right, I do. I really enjoy that. And I didn't have my fill of shawls at that point. I still don't. I really, really enjoy shawls. But I did switch pattern makers, and during the time that I was working on the stuff from TL Yarn Crafts, I found Crystal at Bag a Day, and I am huge Bag a Day fan. I get so excited whenever she posts a new video. She's great. I've learned a lot from Crystal, and it's very evident in this next shawl. It's the only completed shawl I have so far from Bag a Day Patterns, but it was her post-virus shawl, and it is just absolutely my favorite, and it showed me the love that I have for the virus stitch pattern. I'm trying to get it where the light hits it a little better. My lighting is not set up and perfect yet, but look at that. I absolutely love that. I got a lot of experience with front post and back post doubles in this, which the first set of them, so here, this first set, I was ready to scream. They gave me an awful time, but by the time I got to the next set of them, they went much simpler, and I became a fan of that stitch overall. I really like the ribbing that it makes, and it feels very nice. This is also the mandala bonus bundle in Meowth as well. I did a little color controlling. Some of it I didn't get perfect, you know, like here you can see the lighter pink coming down into the darker on some of it, but I thought overall it really worked nicely, and I love this. It's my favorite shawl that I've done. And then of course, also while I was working on those, I've been participating in Crystal's, hold on, I'm tangled up in yarn, 1 second. Yarn, it's everywhere. I'm participating in her shawl along, and I'm not super in love with it. I love the colors. I would, though, however, like to come back in now that I'm a little more comfortable with my tension and stitch control and pacing. I would like to come back in maybe with a slightly softer or more flowy yarn and redo this, because my stitch and my tension is still pretty snug consistently, and in this, with all of the varied more like detailed stitching and things, it just really, it pulls a little tighter than what I would like. And since it is 100% acrylic, it's more difficult to block. I know it can be done, but I don't know that I really want to fight and argue with it. So I think I really just ultimately would like to redo this. And that's sort of why I've stalled and I am behind on the rows, is just because it, I don't know, I'm just not happy with how it lays. I would like to come back and readdress this and give it a little bit more effort, since I've developed skill a little bit. Not skill, I'm still very much a beginner and I mess up a lot, but I do feel like I've learned some tension and stitch control since I did start this, even though it's only been a few weeks really. It's very pretty, very pretty, and I think that I could continue, and I probably will continue in this, because I did buy the yarn here. It's Groot in the mandala. I did buy enough of that to finish that entire shawl, so I probably will go ahead and finish it, but I do want to come back later and sort of give it another attempt with slightly looser stitches so that it lays better. Maybe with wool. I think that would be probably for the best. From there, I decided that I can't remember if I did this next or the other bag next, but we'll say I did this next. It is just a sock hat, toboggan, whatever you want to call them. This is also made with the Lion brand respun with the, I think it's 20% wool. You can see the stitches. The pattern I used here is also a bag-a-day pattern. It's a little rough. It's stiff. My stitching here was also tight. I think I was just so accustomed to working with the DK weight that this heavier, bulky 5 really threw me off. So my stitches were a little tighter. It'll work just fine. I mean, it's, you know, it fits nicely, and it will. It's getting a little softer as I kind of mess with it and play with it, and the stitches kind of settle in to themselves and stuff. But yeah, I thought that was kind of a fun little experiment, and I'll make more hats and get more practice with this stitching around. I'm a little rough with that yet still, but there's that. And then my favorite piece that I have made so far, and also made with my favorite yarn that I've experienced to this point, which is Malabrigo Rios. And I bought a couple skeins of it in a nearby small yarn shop, and they had these colors. This gold yellowy color here, which makes me think of goldenrods. I live in a rural farming community. We have a lot of fields at points in the year where goldenrods are plentiful, and that's sort of what that makes me think of. It is a colorway called Frank Ochre, I believe it is, and then the multicolor there is called Diana, and I just thought that was a very, very beautiful yarn. Here's the ball of the Frank Ochre. That's sitting over here because I have something else to show as well. But this was the first thing that I made where I had no pattern. This is all things that I pieced together in my head to make this little bag. My experience with making the granny squares, I did granny squares and I folded it envelope style with stitched it up in the front. I'm thinking about maybe putting a lining in this, stitching one in, because I also do know how to sew. And then I took and put this little bit of the virus around the front flap, just to give it a little bit more to lay over. And then I added these cute little wood buttons, if you can see them. There's little flowers sort of painted on there. And I did look up a tutorial on how to make cords, straps for bags and things. So I did look that up, but it wasn't any particular tutorial. It was a stitch tutorial. So I did use that, but I love this. I'm so proud that I was able to do this just sort of on my own. And it's so soft, it's so nice, because that yarn is wonderful. And it does smell nice. Crystal Bag-A-Day is very right on that. Malabrigo does smell quite nice. And I'm also in the Malabrigo because I do have a bit of that left from the 2 skeins that I bought after the bag, because it didn't take a whole lot. I've been working on another little project. I'm gonna wait and just show what that is once I get it put together. But I do have an idea for these, and look at that little granny. It's cute. I love that yarn, it's so pretty. So I have those. And then my current item that I've been working on is a summer top for my mother, and it is in Kobu, Lion brand Kobu, and it's a Bag-A-Day pattern that I'm using. It the fabric is made for stretch and to mesh. So I'm really enjoying this. This is my first wearable. I guess you can count shawls sort of as a wearable, but this is going to be the first garment. That's the base of the first side, and I'm currently working on the second side to match, and then they get stitched together. Once I complete that, I will show off more of that. I do really like the kobu. I didn't at first, I thought, but as it stitches up, it's very nice, and it's very smooth, soft, and it's very drapey. I think it'll be very nice. My mom's very happy with the colors. So that's really kind of an overview of where I'm at on my projects and my little 6-week-long adventure in crochet. I look forward to what's to come. I'm really enjoying getting to know the YouTube yarn, crochet, fiber, knit community. Everybody has been really nice, and I think that this is definitely going to be a hobby that takes me far into the future. It's definitely nice to relax and just stitch away and listen to everybody. But thank you guys for watching. I will be back with more content, and I look forward to seeing what all you guys make and what we get to talk about. And you know, if you have any questions about anything that I showed, or comments, or anything constructive, or recommendations on yarn, anything like that, you can leave them in the comments, and I will respond, and I will try to get back with everybody. Thank you again, and I'll see you next time. Bye.